fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men. Let's recall some great men. Let's recall some great men. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights.
Metamorphosis.
Recall Paul Bogle. Recall Marcus Garvey. Recall Nelson Mandela.
Yes, Tinastilin. Hail, greetings to all the ones who are listening to this new and powerful radio station, Stars FM. This is a talk show that comes out of the Northeast every Friday night. Engages your intellect and your thoughts and your feelings and challenge your ways of thinking, presenting new perspectives. Called the Metamorphosis. I'm your host, I'm Dr. Iman Blak, in studio to take you through the paces and the changes that must occur. All of these changes that we speak, I and I speak to, are internal, because the ultimate force that we try to connect with is the I. Yes, the supreme force that dwells within. So right here, within this island now, we're sort of moving into another period of celebration. Yes, we've been celebrating all of August during the Olympics, and with another month to celebrate again, and we just love to celebrate. So we're going to celebrate the heroes this time. And it forced me to sort of question and wonder, what is it that really makes somebody a hero? And should we try to emulate the characteristics of these heroes? And do we have heroes globally, or are heroes culture specific? For example, Sir Francis Drake would be considered a hero in the eyes of the European. But in the eyes of the African, would Francis Drake still be viewed as a hero? So therefore, the notion of a hero then requires a sort of perspective, a sort of angle. How do you view, and who really is a hero versus who really is the villain? And are we sometimes confused between who's a hero and who is a villain? So when I use the metamorphosis, so look at the notion of hero. How important is the notion of hero within our culture, within our education system, within our sporting icons? How important is a hero to you as an individual? And do you personally have any heroes? And it doesn't mean that it's just a male thing. So let us speak about the sheroes. Yeah, we have to balance it up within the context of gender. Are there any sheroes? Is it only within the context of Jamaican history we hear about Nanny, and that's it? There are no other females who have acquired the characteristics of being a hero? So when I look into it, what makes up a hero? Do we really need to worship heroes? Yeah? There is a thing called hero worship. It's within the religious world. It's within the, sporting world. We tend to want to worship people. And so we create these concepts. One of them is a hero. So when we look into it, who informs us, what constructs us hero, and do we really need the type of behavior? Should we really follow what the heroes do? Because if we do, within African culture, we're going to find that a lot of our heroes were actually resistance fighters. And if we take that position to analyze heroes, then really and truly, all black people should really be celebrating resistance. Yeah, we should be celebrating resistance culture, because it seems as if it's within the the dimension of resistance to colonialism, oppression, slavery, that black people have created their pantheon of heroes. So when I look into it, who are these heroes? Yes, and who defines who a hero is? Should we worship human beings as heroes? And who are the motivations within the liberation struggle that we can call our set of big people now, black heroes? Because within the Chinese culture, certainly they have their heroes. Within the European culture, there must be their heroes. And I'm saying within the black people, within African culture, we have to begin to identify our heroes, give them the credit, what is due, and begin to really and truly now acknowledge the behavior. Let us begin to behave more like our heroes. So the metamorphosis, we'll be going through I Word, Sound, and Power. Want to look at black heroes, males and females. Want to look at heroes within the African context. Who are the African heroes and heroines? Within the mythologies, we'll look at the biblical heroes, because we have been sort of overwhelmed with the biblical history, and sometimes from that history we draw on a lot of our heroes. There is news and views, the elections in the United States, a couple of weeks away. What does it mean for us here in Jamaica? Then there's the world of sports. The Olympians are here. The Reggae Boys are presently under great pressure in Guatemala. I think they're trailing by 1-0 in a must-win match. That's a drama unfolding here. It will define whether the program goes forward or whether it goes into arrest for maybe the next 10 years, according to the former JFF Secretary Horace Reed. And of course, we look at women and men, male and female issues within the hero structure. Who in the relationship is the hero? Is the male really the hero, or is the female the shero? And do we need these images within our relation? And of course, within Rastafari, who are the heroes and the sheroes within Rastafari? So we're going to get a definition, a working definition of what is a hero or who is a hero. I want to take it from there and analyze who are the persons that we have been given great privilege to speak things about, who should be our models. Should we model Henry Morgan? He was given the title of Sir. Should he be our model? Or should our model be like Nat Turner? Yeah, the Reverend Nat Turner. How do we define who should be our heroes and who should we follow in terms of their behavior, their dress, and their, most importantly, their philosophy? Yeah, Metamorphosis. Line up yourself.
Every one of us wants progress, as I would say, but some of us can't stand success, as I would say. Why when one tries to do a thing of his own, you know, something kind of progressive, something kind of of your own. Time when you don't check what another person do, as I would say, don't check them at all. You got to learn to do one or thing, as I would say. Watch your step on, don't you take no step, as I would say. And I don't know Goliath to David slew him with a stone. David slew him with a marble stone, as I would say. Community boom down there with a marble stone, as I would say. Little David do to big Goliath, as I would tell you. You come to tell me that you are. You say that you are the follower. But I and I no follow. I create and I don't try to do to all of people's fingers, I would say. Dibby boom down there. Dibby boom down there. Righteousness stands forever, as I would say. Dibby boom down there. You see the little kids going down the street this day. Love each and every one of them, as I would say. Dibby boom down there. The woman is the boom down there. So your mama got to be down there. Your papa got to be down there. Each and every one of us has got to be down there. Got to come with love, as I would say. Love and happiness, as I would say. So the wicked go to where down there. Some people see that hell is for sinners, but hell is not just for sinners. Hell is for heroes, as I would say. So if you want to be your Negro, go to hell. You go to hell down there. The woman at the boom down there. You even take a step and come to call the jungle. China jungle, I would say. The Almighty Jahai. The Rastafari.
Yeah, Metamorphosis, Dr. Iman Blak. We're hearing the sounds of Big Youth. You know, I play this music particularly to segue into the discourse on heroes. Because if you listen to the lyrics, you know, the man says hell is for heroes. So we within the Christian framework now, who are trying our very best to go to heaven, where is it that our heroes really end up? Check it out now, you know. Can our heroes really end up in heaven? I want to say our heroes now. We're speaking about the heroes within the struggle of black people. Because before we even go into, I'll give you a working definition for hero. It is a person or a character who has strong will, more importantly, in the face of danger and adversity. There's a character who in the face of danger and adversity, or from a position of weakness, displays courage and the will for self-sacrifice. This is our working definition now for a hero. Now, if we apply that definition now within the context of our struggle out of the plantation and enslavement, it finds that the people who we have to define as heroes, just look at Jamaica in the first place. And in our National Heritage Celebration, we're celebrating our heroes. And the hero that we consider to be our first hero is Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And if you look at the life of Garvey, Garvey fits into the character of a hero. Because in the face of danger and adversity, and from a position of weakness, Garvey displayed courage and the will for self-sacrifice. So, Garvey fits into the model of a hero. But then when we, the black people, begin to emulate Garvey, we're going to have to begin to go into a resistance mode. Because Garvey was within the face of danger and adversity. No, those two concepts have not changed. There is still danger, and they were still living under great adversity. So we should take a picture then and take a page out of Garvey's philosophy and Garvey's way of life. And we should all be resisting enslavement. We all should be promoting the philosophy and the ideologies of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. So what is the purpose of a hero if we do not emulate and acknowledge and copy the behavior and the ideologies of the hero? So Garvey now in his resistance, could Garvey really have gotten into heaven? Yeah? Garvey was speaking about race first. Garvey was speaking about black empowerment. Can that ideology get a black man into heaven? So, national hero. Then they take us to Nani. Nani was a freedom fighter, fighting against who? Adversity. Adversity created by the British. Enslavement. And so you recognize that our resistance fighters are the ones who have been declared to be heroes. So what is it telling us? I and I, the local population, that we all should perhaps become resistance fighters. What is the adversity? And has the conditions changed since the days of Nani? Who are black heroes? And are black heroes separate from European heroes? To determine who your hero is, you have to recognize your history. You have to recognize your culture. Because a hero emerges out of the history and the culture of the people. So it is the people who face adversity, separate from an individual. It is the people who feel adversity. And so out of that struggle comes forth individuals, males and females, who in the face of adversity show great will and show great self-sacrifice. So we on Jamaica Rock, and black people in general, when we're reflecting on heroes, and we get involved in hero worshipping, how many of these heroes are really black people? And how many of these heroes have really done things to liberate the black people? And then therefore, why should we not follow the lifestyle and the philosophy of these liberators? Hell is not for heroes. Because in hell, you're going to find all the resistance fighters. And here what happened? No, enough of them man there on the chalice. And I don't think that will be legal in heaven. So who is the first? Who is your first hero? Consciously, who is your first hero in your life?
We've been down in a separation much too long.
Was it a biblical hero?
We've been down in humiliation oh so long, yeah. We've been
Was it a sporting hero?
in a condemnation much too long. We've been down in a segregation oh so long.
Was it a war hero?
Rise and shine as the morning sun that surrounds you. It's international morality time, where mankind must be born anew. So rise and shine for the sake
we're celebrating Heroes Week here on Jamaica. Yes, and sometimes it is a hero that lifts up the spirits of the people.
We've been down in a tribulation, oh so long, yeah. We've been down in a condemnation, much too long. And we've been down.
It is time perhaps for us to dust off and to reconfigure our heroes.
In the valley, much too long. We've been down in a poverty, oh so long, yeah. We've been down in the valley.
Yeah, so can you tell yourself, or can you help me to help yourself to understand who really is your first hero? Consciously, who can you recall your first hero? Really almost would worship that person, him or her. And oftentimes, within black culture, that character falls within the biblical history. Because being the book that has been the source of a lot of information about the world, it is really in that book that a lot of black people come upon their first set of heroes. But because black people have a history long before the Bible was written and long before captivity and enslavement, the first hero that I became conscious of through research and reading, first person that I could really elevate to that level of hero in history, in my story, is really a man called Imhotep. I-M-H-O-T-E-P. Imhotep, Imhotep. Once one can really begin to do a little search on Imhotep. But you see, as a little youth now, really growing up in Jamaica before becoming so exposed to literature, my very first year was a musician, I'm going to tell you, I don't even know how I come to love this man, and I never even 4 years old yet. My first year was a man called Satchmo. Louis Satchmo. That one night, Satchmo was invited to come to Jamaica to play at the race course. And as a little youth, and I hear Satchmo coming, and I tell you, I put on some balling. My mother take me to go see Satchmo, I don't know nothing about this man, but something about the horn. And I used to have a nice radio in my house as a youth, I used to hear good music coming through, and I'm always impressed with Satchmo for some reason. But after I kind of grow with Satchmo now and becoming a little bit more physical, and I first era then became a man called Edson Arantes. Some people know him as Pele. So as a youth, I recognize that there are persons that can motivate, persons that can energize, persons that can give you a vision, persons that can give you a sense of purpose for being. So the hero now is an important concept within history, within culture. It's just that I and I now need to really be more specific in who we give these honors to. And by now, who should be removing the honors that we have been given, because a lot of these men that we have been told are heroes are really villains. And all based upon perspective. It's about the hunter versus the lion. The lion's story is one of oppression. The hunter's story is one of glory. Same set of events, different perspective. So the same thing we have to adopt when we're looking at our heroes. So Imhotep, I want to check out Imhotep, Because you say, as a black man, or as a black woman, I was searching for heroes. I was searching through our culture and our story. Our story doesn't really begin, as usual, with enslavement. So we don't have to be looking for heroes only within the context of resistance to slavery. Yes, we have had heroes long before we experienced enslavement from the Europeans. And so in terms of finding our real selves, we can start with Imhotep. Imhotep lived about 2,600 years before the Christian era. Right, that's before we became confused with Jesus and God and Mary and Joseph and all those set of mix-up talk. Imhotep was considered to be perhaps the most educated, but that word is very loose. Let us say he was a chancellor to the Pharaoh. He was also the high priest of the sun god Ra. He was the first architect, the first physician, the chief builder, the chief carpenter, the chief sculptor, the founder of medicine. Now you see, when I began to really sight up Imhotep and begin to look into his images and see says really was like a black man, blacker than night, almost purple. And it is out of this man came forth ideas like the pyramids. Him looked like a little Garvey. Yeah, man. Ancient black man. And so within my notion of heroes, Imhotep got first pride of place. Yes. So long before we were enslaved, and long before we had to find resistance fighters and a slave ship, and long before those set of resistance fighters emerged, we had our heroes. We also had our heroines, because they were queens. Yes, queens and kings, emperors and empresses. Those were the heroes and the heroines of black culture. But you know, because we have been so mixed down and watered, we have lost concepts. And so the hero that we have been given today is not the hero that we must emulate. Because if we begin to emulate the behavior of our heroes today, we're going to have more resistance. And the more resistance will create the greater change. So maybe that is the message. Metamorphosis, looking at the hero.
Styles FM 96.1.
See, Imhotep now, Imhotep is considered to be the world's first multi-genius. What am I saying? The world's first multi-genius. Multiple personalities, not split. Multiple personalities. And so Imhotep, whose name means one who comes in peace, is often referred to also as the first Christ. Yeah, let us get the knowledge together. The first Christ. Imhotep. I-M-H-O-T-E-P. 2,600 years before the Christian era. This is a black hero grounded in African history and African culture. So when we talk about heroes, we cannot ignore race. Because all races have their heroes. And so the black people, the black race, has begun to identify their black heroes. Yes. Can you imagine if Clark Kent was black? Yes, Clark Kent. But they make Clark Kent a Caucasian white man. And so Superman represents the white race. No joke. It's important to concept of race and hero. Yeah, Metamorphosis, exploring Black heroes. You know that within our education system, up to the highest level, when we're introduced to the notion and concept of heroes now, within certain cultures, the culture that overwhelms us with their heroes is really the Greeks, Because all we hear about is Greek heroes. That's why we need to get into the education system, the Greek heroes. So what do we know about Achilles and Hercules? And these guys who are out of the Greek culture. They didn't tell us about the heroes as they related to Africa. Yeah, see. So we only have the notion of white people as saviors, as providers of solutions. We don't have the notion of African heroes. But when we look into our resistance to Eurocentrism and racism, that's the way our heroes emerge, in resistance to oppression. And so we have to be very careful now of how we really come to our own concept of our own heroes. Because otherwise we will be given heroes. We'll be told who must be our heroes. And oftentimes when we're told who are the heroes, the work of the hero comes to a standstill. It's like they turn the hero into a stone. And when the hero becomes a stone, the philosophy and the ideology and the resistance stops. So like it's tapped in the stone. And so we have to be careful now who we allow to become heroes. Because oftentimes the work of the hero stops once we define him as a hero. When he is not a hero, the philosophy seems to continue within the minds of the people. So the Jamaican scenario, we're celebrating our heroes, and we look at Marcus Garvey, that he was rejected from the country, pushed out of the society. Eventually, some group decided to make him a hero. Now, I'm not even sure who is it within the power structure that defined Marcus Garvey, the same man who the society rejected and fought out. Who would really turn around and turn this man into a hero? When we look at Paul Bogle, we're having issues with Bogle because Bogle again led the slaughter of hundreds and hundreds of white people. Is this what we should be following? Because Bogle is a national hero. What is the message in these heroes? What about the Chinese people on this island? How come there are no national heroes that are Chinese? And the Chinese have a population here in Jamaica. What is it about the racial makeup of the people here that there's no national hero who's an Indian? Why is it only within the context of resistance that we are finding the blacks who are heroes? And these heroes have to die to be recognized. And they die for freedom of those who have been enslaved. So there's something amiss, something not so kosher about being a hero here in Jamaica. Metamorphosis, Stars FM. There can be no peace until you have equal rights and justice. And it seems as if this is what our heroes. Heroes fighting against oppression. There's no room for them in heaven. Why do our heroes have to turn to violence to create change? Nani, Sam Sharp, Paul Bogle. What is the message? Should we be celebrating resistance as we celebrate our heroes? They say the hero is a demigod, a mixture of the mortal and the immortal. Yes, we need justice, peace. Yeah, we have to exercise our own conceptual approach to the hero and the shiro. Let us all be heroes. Let us all become resistance fighters. That is the way we change. Let us all become agents of change. Change agents. Sam Sharp. Rather die on the gallows than to live as a slave. Where are our black heroes? Africa, our story. African World Affairs on the Metamorphosis. Want to hear of Patrick in Norwich Heights? Hear that there is a perpetual listener to Stars FM. Give thanks for making the link. And healing up all the people up in Norwich. And the people in behind Norwich and beside Norwich. Yes, and Dirk's over there in Passley. Because, yeah, long time I don't see the eye still, you know. But I know that the eye is there in vibrations. Yes, I will look at African world affairs. Again, the whole notion of the hero. Who are our heroes within the context of African history? Do we have any African heroes? Are all our heroes grounded in Europe? Yeah, think about it for a while. Do we have any heroes that really come out of Africa? And within our education system, what are we taught about African people in terms of leaders and heroes? Not much, you know. Not much at all. When we talk about heroes in Africa, exposure to African history, again, comes to most black people through the Bible. And we'll look into the biblical history and try to find Africa in the Bible. Then we go into Ethiopia and we go into Egypt. Once we enter into those two African countries and try to find heroes within the same biblical context of history, we go into Egypt. One of the first characters presented to us as a hero is Moses. Because Moses is presented as a savior. And it is Moses now who is going to become a religious hero. One of the first images that is resonated in the brain of black people, that it is Moses now who is going to take black people out of slavery. This is the imagery now. They use the Exodus story to imbibe the brain of black people, that they begin to see themselves almost as the same people who Moses was leading out. So psychologically, the people begin to identify with Hebrews and Israelites. And Moses now, through the movies and through the literature, is brought to the front of our consciousness. And Moses is going to actually challenge the whole of African culture. It is Moses that's going to represent the force that's going to challenge black culture. And so Moses is set up against Pharaoh. And Pharaoh is presented as a villain. So within our first engagement with African history through the Bible, we get two characters. One is a villain, one is the enemy. One is the hero, that one is also the savior. And so we are told to make a choice. And in our young brains, and in our brains that is powered by fear, and with the strength of MGM movies, Metro Golden Mayer and Cecil B. DeMille, they present Moses as this link now to God. Because of the link between Moses and God, the strength of Moses' character grows. And he becomes more than a hero. He now becomes a representative and the voice of God. And through Moses, we get the commandments of God. Hey, may I tell you, the thing set up in such a way was all grounded in the worship of the hero. And so for those of you now who accept Moses as a hero, woe be unto you. Because the teachings of Moses doesn't lead to the liberation of the consciousness of the black man. Those teachings defile the will of man. And it rejects African consciousness. And it makes us fearful, puts us under Lord God. And we lose our will. And as Garvey said, people without courage have lost the race even before they have started.
Black my story.
All our heroes are spread out across the African continent. Yes, we find heroes within the culture. And Africa and its 50 countries has its hundreds and hundreds of black heroes. But you have to understand the history first. You have to know your story before you can fully appreciate love who are your heroes. Now you see, the African continent, it is so vast. But to look at the leaders is an important point. Find who really are the heroes. And the effort to decolonize the African continent has produced a lot of resistance fighters. And these resistance fighters fall into the mold of black heroes. We can look at men like Kwame Nkrumah. We can speak of Patrice Lumumba. We can speak of Julius Nyerere, Jomo Kenyatta, Machel Samoro, Haile Selassie. All of these leaders, a lot of them contributed to the formation of the Organization of African Unity, the OAU. These are our African heroes. Yeah, but you see, because the Europeans control information, we are not able to, we seem to be unable to discern for ourselves who really are our leaders and who are our heroes. Instead, we embrace people who are coming out of different histories and different cultures. So in the modern days, who defines who is a black hero? Politically, economically, socially. We have to keep looking at resistance. Because within the context of heroes within black culture, because the black race has been really under oppression for the last 500 years, all of our heroes come out of that resistance mode. So within the context of the Caribbean, for example, Toussaint Louverture, one of the early black heroes. Louverture who defied European forces. Again, you have to be in a state of resistance. So in defying Europe and declaring Haiti as a free republic, Toussaint Louverture is tricked by Napoleon, brought into captivity, eventually killed. He becomes a black hero because of the self-sacrifice and because of the will to fight against adverse conditions. So within the black people, we must recognize that our heroes are our cultural resistance fighters. And if you want to maintain that movement of our heroes, we all must become resistance fighters. We all have to adopt that philosophy. The philosophy that challenges racism. The philosophy that challenges oppression in all forms. We all must become resistance fighters in honor of our heroes. So the African heroes, creators of organizations that help to pull African unity together. Europeans, of course, have their heroes. They have their heroes in science. They have their heroes in space technology. They have their heroes in exploration. But when you juxtapose both societies and cultures, the heroes of Europe have been the colonizers and the destroyers of African history and African culture. So we must sort of step away from embracing and hugging up these heroes of Europe, these colonizers, these oppressors. Sir Henry Morgan, the greatest buccaneer, given honor in a place like Jamaica. You see why the problems with the Sirs? Yes, part of the oppression. Tired of the Sir business.
African children are living in a concrete situation. African children, they so sad. Their environment, it is so bad. High-rise concrete, no backyard for the children to play. African children are living in a concrete situation.
So I ask you, who is your African hero? Who is your African heroine? Yeah, man, we begin to put the hero within the context of a race. Yeah, we can't disconnect from our racial history. Who is your African hero of all times? Whether it's in sports, music, entertainment, politics, religion. Who is your most respected African hero?
Lit out of action on the 27th floor, and when the thing works, don't you know it smell now? African children. How many African children they're right here in the carnival? How many African children they must know where we're coming from? Special request to the Halstead Posse.
What about Queen Nzinga?
Special request to the Paddington Posse. Special request to the Brixton Posse.
Empress Taitu.
African children, they don't know where we're coming from. African children.
So many heroes died on the slave ships. Between the slave ship and the plantation.
African children. They don't know where you're coming from.
We have to resurrect our black heroes and heroines, heroes and sheroes. Selassie, Lumumba, Machel, Mariri, Kenyatta, and Nkrumah.
Styles FM 96.1.
Oh, twinkling wheel, can't see the right roads when the streets are paved. The whole slave man might grind slow, but it grinds fine. Yeah, African herdman, while in your horn, just concentrate, 'cause heaven lives on. Retired slave men will look with the scorn, with a transplanted heart. Guess how quick they had to part. They had to part. The remembrance of today is the sad feeling of tomorrow. Yes, how quick they had to part. Oh yeah, African herdman, seize your time. I'm taking illusion on the edge of my mind. I'm taking losers down through my life, down through my life. Yeah, guess how quick they had to part. They had to part. Did they part? Yes, they part. In remembrance of today. How quick they had to part. African herdman, why linger on? Just concentrate, 'cause your heaven lives on. Retired slave men will look with the scorn, with the transplanted heart.
looking at Africa in world affairs, our story, and the heroes and the heroines that emerge out of Africa. Yes, because heroes are not a construct of European civilization, nor the American civilization. Recently, in America, every week somebody becomes a hero. Yeah, man, every week a man does something, and the new definition now is that he's now a hero. So it's a word that is being overused, maybe a bit abused, keeping people confused. And we insist that the hero has a role in every society. What we need to do within our black culture is identify what are the values that should be attached to anybody who gets the title of hero. Of course, within African societies and African stories, we always heard about Anansi. And that Anansi was actually projected as a hero. His hero was based upon cunning. And so some way, somehow, within the context of our Jamaican society, we think that being cunning is being brave, is like a great thing when you can be a trickster. And so we're given a sort of negative image now of an Anansi who becomes a hero because of his tricky ways. And we start to internalize this notion of being tricky and think it is something great. Yet, there are other perceptions of Anansi. And in that hero, some people view Anansi as a god. It was a god of like a crossroads, where you have to use your intelligence to make certain decisions. And this is where the Anansi came into being. So hero worship. We have heroes in stories. Yeah, even the biblical story of David and Goliath. In that story, David is projected as a hero. He is this small boy facing great adversity, which is this great big giant. And of course, the giant is projected as black. And David is a little white boy. And so within the battle, it is the hero, David, that we, the people of Africa, have been told to embrace. And so there's another hero put into our consciousness. And a lot of the heroes that we hold on to have been put there by biblical teachings. And they do not necessarily resonate within African history. Our story have a different set of heroes. Our heroes begin with Imhotep, and they go through the Egyptian pharaohs. And they're heroes in West Africa, heroes in the North, South, East, West, and Central Africa. Yeah, it's not just a European thing. We have our African heroes.
are holy folk. I am holy folk. Now let go.
Yes, penalty for the Jamaican national team as we face Guatemala. Score 1-0 in favor of Guatemala. Here comes the penalty. We need a point out of this match. Goal score. 1-1. Hey, Reggae Boys doing their thing. Yes, the Metamorphosis keeping the world in touch. The national team, of course, playing in Guatemala. We need at least a point to get into the second round, and the game is now 1-1. Equalize a penalty. So the real war is on. Yeah, we shall keep you up to date. We go through. Yeah, we're looking at the heroes, and even right on the play field, we have heroes being created. Yes, by their activities. Penalty shot right up into the pigeon. And so we have a hero in the making. It's about overcoming adversity and challenging your own willpower and so on and so forth. So we hope in the next half an hour time we can tell you that the match is over and we have either drawn the match or we get the second goal. But we're looking good so far. Yeah, Metamorphosis, Stars FM, going into deconstruction of the mythologies, fables and the rhymes, superstition. Yeah, we're looking into the mythologies as we deconstruct things that we don't understand. Ease the suffering. Yeah, we're deconstructing the mythologies while the Reggae Boys hold on to Guatemala at 1-1. Yeah, you know the mythologies, very important now because it's within the Christian mythologies. A lot of the heroes are embedded. Yeah, within the Christian mythologies. When we look at the heroes that we hold on to, we have to look at images like, for example, Samson. We have been socialized and educated through religion to believe that Samson was really the strongest man. And in Jamaican musicology, we have it in the song that Samson was the strongest man from in the days of olden, until a woman took it from him. Now, when we get that story, the fact that he's the strongest man makes him, put him into the category of being a hero. In the same way we put Hercules and these other characters in the position of being heroes. strongest people in the world, fastest runners in the world. These are titles that put people into the roles of heroes. So within the biblical construct now, we get Samson as this strong man. And yet, at the end of the story, his strength is diminished through the interference of a woman. So what is really the message about that type of hero? How can the hero be strong? So perhaps it's the type of strength we're making reference to. Maybe he was a physically strong man, but perhaps emotionally he was not strong. And so the message in that hero is that maybe man should begin to strengthen himself emotionally and not take the image and likeness of a Samson. So we can look into the imagery and look at what we have been given as a hero. And as a youth, Samson, as the strongest man, males being very physical in their outlook, tend to resonate in our psyche of being a hero. And so when a man says you're strong, a man says you're strong like Samson. But the backside is that emotionally, you're also as weak as Samson. So we don't really need Samson as a type of hero, because the weak side doesn't really balance with the strong side. So we can throw Samson out of the window. Another one of the biblical heroes that we get, that we hold on to, perhaps as the greatest hero, is Jesus. Because Jesus is not only the greatest hero, he represents the only begotten Son. And in that representation, we worship Jesus. So this is a sign and a symptom of what we call hero worship. We worship Jesus as a savior. And in that worship, we actually give up our will, give up our personal identity to follow this spiritual hero. So we have to re-examine ourselves now, because we ask about now the racial makeup of this hero. Does this hero come out of the racial context of Africa? Or does he come out of the historical background of the Chinese? And in this question, it remains a mystery, because nobody wants to attach a race to Jesus. Jesus becomes raceless. And in that notion, we are confused. Because he's the first hero that comes out of the world history, comes out of African history, comes out of the biblical history, and has no racial identity. Serious construction that needs to be deconstructed.
Stiff-necked fools, you think you are cool to deny me for simplicity. Yes, you are gone for so long with your love for vanity now. Yes, you have got the wrong interpretation mixed up with vain imagination. So take your sun and your moon and your rain and your stars and forever, yes, erase your fantasy, yeah. The lips of the righteous teach many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man went his illicit, the righteous went is in his holy place. So take your sun and your moon and your rain and your stars and forever, yes, erase your fantasy. Destruction of the poor is in the poverty. Destruction of the soul is vanity, yeah.
Yeah, looking at the mythologies and how the heroes are generated out of the myths. We spoke about Samson and how we locked into Samson as this hero who was physically strong but obviously emotionally weak. And then there's also John the Baptist. When I was a youth, I was always impressed with John the Baptist as a man who actually tried as a Nyabingi. Because John the Baptist was one of them serious early laxman that the Bible spoke of, you know. Yeah, John the Baptist was a man who the society was afraid of him. The emperors, the kings and those leaders were afraid of John the Baptist because of his philosophy. And so he faced a lot of adversity in terms of the governance. He was considered to be a threat to the society. So John the Baptist is an early hero. That them even cut off him head, you know, to show you how the man did rough. They have to cut off John the Baptist's head. And this apparently is in those type of violent emerges, this whole construct of a hero. You have to be in resistance to the status quo. You have to be actively working against forces of colonialism, racism, oppression in all forms, whether class, religion, politics, or gender. So the heroes know. Some of the heroes in the Bible are whole images that the status quo do not represent, do not like to hold on to. For example, now, here is the paradox. Jesus is held as a hero, held as the Son of God, divine, man and human, human and divinity combined. Yet at the same time, if you take on the image and likeness of Jesus, the same society is going to reject you. Because in the image and likeness of this hero was a Nazarene. And just like Samson, the Nazarites grew their locks. But if you were to grow your locks here in the society, they wouldn't see you as Jesus-like. They see you as a Rasta man now who come to create problems. They see you as a source of pain and grief. So we have to be careful now, how is it we really arrive at our heroes? Who defines who the hero is? Who defines what the hero look like? Because if Jesus Christ is the ultimate hero, then all his followers should look like him. And so Rastafari should get a break. Because Rastafarians are the only people who actually look and hold the image of that hero, Jesus. of the Rastafari and heroes. One of the heroes of Rastafari. Stepping Razor. Born it in a Buckingham Palace. Anywhere, born it. You know, chalice have a light up and the spliff have a burn in all places. But I can't go on in a heaven, you know. Yeah, hell is really for the heroes. Yeah, so one of us touch on another type of hero before we come to this section. These are the heroes that we call superheroes. You know, as youths, we all are exposed to comic books and those type of literature. And some way, somehow, in our deep unconscious mind, we develop a favorite superhero. Who is your favorite superhero? Yeah, personally. Who is your superhero? Because this is the comic strip, it's enough of us unconscious mind, you know. And as I look at you, one of the most impressive heroes was really Superman, the Man of Steel. And then there's also Batman and Robin. And then there's Captain America. And then there's the Fantastic Four. And all of a sudden, when you recognize all of these superheroes, they're all white. All of these heroes that we are given as children, super ones, the ones who can fly and do fantastic things, they're always put in the racial image of white people. Now, it's not because they don't understand the importance of race and culture and heroes, but it's because they know that your hero motivates and you tend to want to emulate and even look like your hero. If your hero is a white man, yes. If your hero is a white woman or the heroine, the probability is very great that deep in your unconscious mind, you try to model your hero. And in that modeling, you begin to perhaps wear the same type of clothing, perhaps begin to have the same type of walk. Ultimately, you begin to speak the same speak. So we're saying superheroes. We have to re-examine our own unconscious mind. And how many of our superheroes are black? How many of our superheroes are really black? And in reverse, how many of our villains are really black? It's part of the programming. We have to deconstruct, to reorganize our own unconscious minds. Superheroes, superwomen, Catwoman. Not many women who are been given superpowers, you know. It's a man thing. It's a male white man thing. So you imagine now if we had our young children developing, our young artists developing cartoons of black heroes. A black Superman. Yeah, a black man who can fly. A black man who fights against crime. A black man who's from the Justice League. Yeah, if we begin to create those images, you know, we can begin to change impressions and images of our own self. Superheroes and biblical heroes are important parts of the psyche of the black people. Metamorphosis. For still one on.
Church on Sunday, thinking who you're gonna screw Monday, who you're gonna thief, who you're gonna rob. Take it as me till you say you can't fool God too. Every day you ball out, Jaja. Call yourself a dreadlocks rasta. Terrorize the people on your lane, cause I saw you get wicked when you lick the code. By his deeds shall a man bend down. Man, I ask you for a piece of bread, you give him stone. His deeds shall a man be known. Not tear up your head and worship Babylon throne. By his deeds shall a man be known. Straighten up your liberty and don't bow down. By his deeds shall a man be known. Mr. Money Man with your big money plan. Tell me where you get your first money from. How you plant your field, how you make your deal, then come tell your picnic them fit don't smoke weed. Left your air condition office and gone a bar. Impress a little easy gal with your pretty car. When you're done, she said she have to get paid. What a fret you a go fret when you hear she have. By his deeds shall a man be known. Man, I ask you for a piece of bread, you give him stone. By his deeds shall a man be known. Not tear up your head and worship Babylon throne. By his deeds shall a man be known. Straighten up your liberty and don't bow down. By his deeds shall a man be known. What a way you reach far. Every lyrics where you have me say up your one. Oh, you want tell a man feel lick shot when you never get a lick yet we feel with heart. If you are warrior, tell me where you fight for. And if I justice make you put up on a lighter. But if I vanity jewelry and such, remember say me tell you say you so yeah. By his deeds shall a man be known. Man, I ask you for a piece of bread, you give him stone. By his deeds shall a man be known. Not tear up your head and worship Babylon throne. By his deeds shall a man be known. Straighten up your liberty and don't bow down. By his deeds shall a man be known. Church on Sunday, thinking who you're gonna screw Monday, who you're gonna thief, who you're gonna rob. Take it as me till you say you can't fool God too. Every day you ball out, Jaja. Call yourself a dreadlocks rasta. Terrorize the people on your lane, cause I saw you get wicked when you lick the code. By his deeds shall a man be known. Man, I ask you for a piece of bread, you give him stone. By his deeds shall a man be known. Not tear up your head and worship Babylon throne. By his deeds shall a man be known.
Yes, by your deeds one shall be known, also by what you think. But they say actions speak louder than words. In the action now, the Reggae Boys are falling behind 2-1. The final 5 minutes to go in a match that they must score, equalize to give themselves a chance to get into Brazil 2014. Yes, the importance of games. People screaming their head off and money being better, you know. Black people, yes, in a struggle through the realm of sports for their own economic liberation. Yeah, so we're going to go into our news and sports in a little while now because we're getting up into that motion now. The game is about to be finished and we want to speak a bit about the Reggae Boys and their future. Right here in Stars FM. Hey, what's going on, boy? Enough tension in the world of sports right now. I tell you this. Anxious moments in the Reggae Boys match. Anxious moments in the final 3 or 4 minutes of the match, and Guatemala hanging on with a 2-1 lead, simply killing time while the Jamaicans scramble about for possession. 8 minutes, 3 minutes to play, or 8 minutes. 3 minutes. We have 180 seconds to resolve this match. Otherwise, the campaign is over. And we begin to talk about 2018 domestic things like schoolboy soccer, which is really the most important thing. But let's speak to you a little bit more as we come up to the sports. But within the world of news, the American elections coming up in a few seconds. 2 seconds meaning a couple of weeks. And in those couple of weeks, the world will know whether the Obama regime continues or whether there's a switch to Romney. And in that switch, will the 47% of people who are leeches suffer greater, or will they be given more access to the prosperity that is promised in America? You know, Obama, in the first debate, we understand he lost it because he was too passive. He claimed that he was being too polite. And his vice president sort of tried to make up the slack. But long and short of it, it's a racial struggle in America. Yeah, it's a racial struggle. And the struggle in the White House is about how is it that this mixed race man with this black woman can be in the office of the greatest democratic country in the world. And so the struggle to transform America to what they call the righteous rulers. Righteous rulers is what the struggle is about, you know. So the black people in America are still a minority. Hispanics are now outnumbering the blacks. I'm pretty sure that perhaps in the next time around, the next potential presidential election, we probably see a Hispanic challenging for the White House, and the black people would have done their term. So the black people need to reorganize themselves. How can they move collectively as a unit build economics. And who to tell? Look more towards the continent. Because North America not offering much. Africa has 50 great countries there waiting for resources for us to take or channel our energies there. And so North Americans may begin to think more about Africa after this election if Obama is rejected out of the White House. And of course, we look a little further, we see that the Syrians are insisting that there will be no regime change, and the Europeans are insisting that the Syrians change, and so we're just going to see exactly how that will pan out. You know, the final whistle has been blown in Guatemala, and the Reggae Boys have suffered a very, very serious defeat, going down 2-1. And I'll speak a little bit more greatly on that as we get into the sports section. Looking further on the news, you know that within the Jamaican scenario, we have been suffering from some type of crimes that hard to describe. The most recent one now is this young man who goes into his house and beheads his grandmother. Yeah, man. Take off the woman's head. And it make me wonder about what's really going on in Jamaica now, you know. Because are these really normal people? And what is it that creating this disturbance in the minds of these people? Something strange is happening. People want to call it demonic. I think it's deeper than that. Something maybe in the food. There's something in the society that is creating these weird type of behaviors that never existed here 10, 20, 30 years ago. Never existed. Maybe it's like scamming. Just weird. Way out. We have to deal with it.
walking with me daughter. World of reggae music on ya. I never left ya, never know, sir.
We're still in our news section here. We're coming into it locally now, and at the local level, we are seen to be overwhelmed by this new form of justice called jungle justice. Yeah, it is now replacing what is supposed to be legal formats of justice. And in this form of justice now, the so-called community operates as a mob. And the mob mind has one intention: death, destruction, and mayhem. And so over the last couple of weeks, we've had about 3 or 4 cases of jungle justice, where the people them just go for the people them who them consider to be guilty and just take off them head and just maim them and massacre them. There's actually a case in court now with 4 men who have been held for the murder of a person who was accused of sodomizing and committing other crimes against children. All that was alleged, nothing really proven, but such is the case. But that is a new thing in Jamaica now. Obviously, North America had it in their Wild Wild West days, you know, wherein the posse would come out and they would, the mob would do their own hanging. Our court system is so overburdened with ridiculous cases of ganja that burden the court system. Yes, a lot of the court time is tied up with ganja cases. And so the real resources to address the problems of real crime cannot be addressed. So we're having issues here in Jamaica in terms of justice, and the people now are taking it in their own hands, and in their own hands, they're defending blood. So it's not about justice, it's about revenge. And I keep asking the question, what is the difference between justice and revenge. So we'll find that even living in Jamaica now is becoming a very tricky situation. Not just the cost of living is rising, but more fundamentally, it is a cost of energy. And in the cost of energy, the people struggle to maintain themselves, particularly with the most basic type of energy, which is food. So with food issues, we're suffering in Jamaica in terms of malnutrition up front. And the food is expensive, and the best food is not the cheapest food here in Jamaica. So economic issues, malnutrition issues, issues of violence. And in all, when all is done and all is said, it's still a wonderful place to live. And though we celebrate our heroes in this time, I was just going to leave this section with a question that surrounds Paul Bogle. Because here we are now celebrating our Heroes Week, and we're still not sure about the image of Paul Bogle. The BET magazine showed us that who we call Paul Bogle really was a inventor of the dry cleaner called Thomas Jennings. And a lot of our academics have come up to defend the position that it's a bogus picture of Jennings. But in all, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced because they have not shown me any alternative picture to who Jennings is. And Jennings is a real man, a real inventor. The dry cleaning was invented. There is no evidence of Bogle looking like Jennings. So we want to clear it up now, We are celebrating our heroes. We need to know what and who our heroes are. And if we can't find an image of Bogle, then what we're holding on to, if it's a false one, then we must let it go and ask our artists. In the same way we created an image of Nanny, we ask our artists to go into their creative imaginations with information from the family to draw what could really be Paul Bogle. Because we cannot be celebrating Thomas Jennings as a national hero. Can we? Can we? Metamorphosis. This was the theme song of the Reggae Boys in 1998. Successful we were then. In 2012, the Reggae Boys have just failed in their attempted mission to get to Brazil 2014. The Reggae Boys have failed to rise up this time.
No matter what you do, you know, say that we can't stop. We stand up and salute down to the yellow, the green, the black. I make them know, say that they want this mystic. Yeah, world is for you taking, and giving up is the only crime. Now written on the pages of history, this is your moment, this is your time. Yeah. Now we know, it's not an easy road. Another roadblock.
Yeah, roadblock for the Reggae Boys. Yeah, the Reggae Boys campaign has come to an end this evening in Guatemala. Playing in the penultimate match for the first round, the Reggae Boys needed minimum of a draw to have a chance of getting into the final group of 6. Well, the score was tied 1-1 for quite a few minutes, quite a while. It was tied at 1-1 until the 80th minute when the Guatemalans found the 2-1 winner, which means the campaign is over. There's one more game to play on Tuesday, and I can imagine how the stadium will be empty as they play Antigua Barbuda, who I think perhaps by now should have lost to the United States. And so the whole Jamaican football fraternity now must go into retreat, rethink their approach to international football. Because getting to the World Cup is just one part of the process. It cannot be the end result if you're having a national program. There are the Olympics, there are regional tournaments, there's a continuous program from the grassroots up. So if the Football Federation is serious, they'll use this moment to reflect, reorganize, reset the entire island football, reduce some of the clubs, make the clubs that are at the top level more viable, and really, once and for all, set the football on a proper path for the rest of the century. So we'll take our defeat, and hopefully the Federation will not point too many fingers outside of themselves, but they will look closer into their own activities and try to make the necessary correction. So that is the football in terms of the reggae boys. Then, of course, there is the club soccer here, club football, and that the reggae boys close off their program. It was unfortunate that they had to bring in Jermaine Hugh now at a time when they were on the way out, because Hugh has been in the country for so long and has been denied an opportunity to play for the national team for so long. Now they bring him in on the final day, and then get one match, side crash, and that is it. So we don't really have much vision, I'm telling you, about development for football. Yes, it's very, very short-sighted, and a lot of personalities are involved in the selection, and we're not getting the best out of the country. At the schoolboy level, of course, this is where the excitement is. And now that the reggae boys are out of the picture, all attention now will turn to the Costa Cup and Manning Cup. And the Manning Cup is, both competitions will be finished tomorrow in terms of the preliminary rounds. Most of the zones in the Da Costa Cup have been settled. Most of the zones in the Manning Cup have been settled. But there are a couple of games that are outstanding that will define struggle with Yalas tomorrow. Yalas has nothing to lose. All we need is 3 points, and we will be in the interzone round, just like that. Of course, locally in Port Antonio, Comprehensive have established themselves as the zone winners, and Happy Grove have next week with the group winners. And before we leave the sports altogether, I want to congratulate the West Indies on turning this very long and deep corner to become world champions again. Not at the traditional test cricket, but at the more modern, recent, and exciting 2020 cricket. We also hail Chris Gayle and we hail Marlon Samuels, the two firebrands that make the West Indies go. And you see, when you look at West Indies construction, it's with our Jamaicans in it, the side on a fire, you know. Is we put the fire in the West Indies cricket team. Trinidadians are very calm. The Guyanese are suave. The Jamaicans, we are fire. Yeah, we make the team blaze. And we also bring the rhythm. And it shows, though, that team sports are really driven by individuals. And the individuals must know to make themselves team players. And out of all of this, Portia Simpson Miller smiles because it's through Portia that them get back Chris Gayle into the cricket. And imagine now, all of those hypocrites and enemies of Chris Gayle, all the people who fight out Gayle, they are now hugging up the man and celebrating with him. That's why I can't take nothing. Hey, that's why I can't deal with society here in the Bridget. After you had an organized campaign against the man, and the side win. The same people who organized the campaign against Gale are now leading the celebrations. Fireborn. Fireborn for them guys.
Styles FM 96.1.
Stop till the battle is won and we get justice. Cause if you lose your stand, anyone will try to push you over and over. Lift up your head and
I want to hear of Icon Dakai over in Sasebo, Nagasaki, Japan. Yes, I. Don't think we can say Japanese known as I.
we know that we'll win the prize. Don't be discouraged by the pitfalls and their worries. They endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And if you lose your soul, there's nothing to gain. It will be over.
So reggae boys, I feel all of them head now, you know. Yeah, I don't want nobody turn into cannibals now and just descend on the side now and just start nyam up one another. Because we're very famous for that, you know. Yes, we're famous for when things are not right, we just descend on each other. Want to allow with more and allow the people them now and allow the players and just rethink it rather than quarrel it. How do we project over the next 10 years? How do we get to the next 2 Olympics? How do we win a medal in football at the Olympics? Perhaps that should be our new objective. You can leave the World Cup thing a little bit. Meditate on the Olympics. Because if you can bring in a medal at the Olympic level, then you have the foundation for a World Cup program in the real world. And as we talk about heroes, you know, there are a lot of persons who have their heroes in the world of sports. Yeah, man. And you can think about it. Who's your hero in athletics? Who is your football hero? Who is your basketball hero? Yeah, who is your hockey hero? There are heroes in all spaces of sports. What is about the hero? The hero gives you motivation. You want to emulate the behavior of the hero. So, a man seems like Messi. Messi, a theme baller. So in order to emulate Messi, you're going to have to go train as hard as Messi. Yeah, you're going to have to run like Messi. You're going to put in the background work because you are now inspired. That is the role of a hero. So within black culture, a lot of our heroes rest in the world of entertainment and sports. So we always ask our entertainers and sportsmen to be models. Sometimes they don't design it themselves. Sometimes it's not them define that they want to be a model. But within black culture, within the black experience, a lot of our success have come in those areas. And so a lot of our heroes are created in entertainment and in sports. And so we ask those persons, males and females, who reach a level of hero, to recognize them responsibility now to the race. Yeah, man, it's a very important connection. You're not only responsible to yourself now, but you're responsible to the race of people from which you come from. And in that responsibility now, you have to carry yourself in a particular way to uplift the entire race around you. Like I said, nobody was really given the role by design, but through socialization and through the role of modeling and the fact that we like to emulate things that we respect. I appeal to our sportsmen and sportswomen. Recognize yourself as the heroes and the heroines of our race and of our people and move accordingly. So get the proper knowledge of your history, get your story, and step in that divine way. And so our sportsmen and our sportswomen now can become the real leaders that the politicians now will have to follow them. Because the politicians are not real leaders, you know. The politicians are just hangers on. And they hang on to the power given to them by the people. The sportsman and the sportswoman have generated power out of their own efforts. They're respected by the people. So we're saying, sportsmen and sportswomen, black culture, recognize you as our heroes. So we want you to live it in the most rightful way. Metamorphosis.
Coming after my soul, wanting to take control. Wanna give me laughs, wanna give me bling, wanna give me all the material things. I hear them talking about what the world has to offer. Girl, what you doing, don't you see? What they have done to Bedouin and Marcus, Jesus and all of the prophets. But I'm not afraid, no. Protected by the most I want. They don't mind when you fall behind and can't pay your bills on time. Prostituting and standing in a them government line. No, and they don't mind when you waste your time coming up with some stupid lines, influencing the youth them to snort a line and take a life. And they don't mind when you're locked up in jail, can't get no bail, sentence for life. I can't see your youth them strive. No, they don't mind. But I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. No, if them a come, let them come, 'cause I'm protected by the most I want. Yeah. Don't be foolish. Oh no. Hey. Thinking they don't know your name. I see them coming after my soul, wanting to take control. Wanna give me laughs, wanna give me bling, wanna give me all the material things. I hear them talking about what the world has to offer. Girl, what you doing, don't you see? What they have done to Bedouin and Marcus, Jesus and all of the prophets. But I'm not afraid, no. I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid.
Yeah, we're not afraid to talk on the studios. But I will listen here. I was talking things that are sensible. Yeah, but I just here having a look at this quote with Jacko about the money that the Olympians have been given, and now suddenly there's a big discourse. So they might get too much and they're not getting enough. What the money should do instead. But you know, it's an important symbol to link money with effort in sports. Now sometimes we feel that there should be no money, you know, you should just do it because you love it. But out of that love is no suffering, plenty sacrifice, and pain. Because you push the body beyond levels of pain that the normal human being can't sustain. So what happened now? So one man get 2.1 million, one man get 3 million, one. So what happened? What about it? Are you saying that it's too much? Or they should get more? Or they don't deserve it? Or how do we value the contribution of our athletes in terms of monetary view? How do we put a value on it? They lift the psyche of the nation. They expose the nation to tourism. I mean, how you really say how much a man must get? And what is too much? Yeah, because if you do it in an official way by marketing and advertising, the millions and millions of dollars. So a man come back and get 2 million, you can't. Listen, man. We will stop practice this thing called grudgefulness. We will stop it, Yeah, man, we have done it, man. We have to start looking at what people getting and comparing to what happened if we did get it. We have to lift our minds out of that stage and recognize, brother, athletics is a hard, sports is not a very easy world to live in. The careers are short, and so we have to respect that the man them will not be in it forever, and they have to sacrifice everything so that they should be given what they can when they can. And when they move on, that is it. And it's open for others. So we could just free up the whole struggle over how much man them getting. We could celebrate more than quarrel. You see, in time Jamaica graduate from quarreling, just really celebrating. It will be a great lift in the country, And we start cussing rather than, or we start counsel rather than cuss. However, thing in Jamaica say if you want people to change, you cuss them. And I'm saying when you cuss people, them get hardened and more vexed. Let us learn to counsel and reason if we want the transformation. Metamorphosis, Alpha and Omega.
I've been here all day of my life. Works good and queer, I behold with my sight. Some will share, others do as they like. Some you flesh them want here with them fork and knife.